Now you've mastered the cycle of fourths. You know 1, 4, 5 in all keys. We've got our 2 chord sets, and we can label them like a root on the 6th string. That's A, D, and E, where the 1 chord is based on the 6th string, and then the 4 and the 5 are off the 5th string. And the other set would be root on the 5th string, D, for example, root on the 5th string, and then 4 and 5 are based on the 6th string. The chord sets that we'll choose when we get down to playing more stylistic rhythms will depend on the key, on the style of rhythm that we're playing, but those will constitute kind of the essence of how we organize chords on the neck. It really isn't a lot more complicated than that. We'll just look at a lot of ways of expressing that idea. Now, 1, 4, 5, I get it, okay. We get tonality. We know how they circle around that central tone. But blues also has, in addition to the dominant 7th chord being a kind of a central feature of the harmony, it has a form, a way of arranging those chords that is stylistic, and that's called the 12-bar blues. Now, when you think about the ways that songs are written, probably the most common way of writing a song, or of organizing chords and feeling the rhythm and so forth, writing lyrics, is 8 bars. It just makes sense. It's 2 plus 2 times 2. You know, it's very simple. 12-bar blues is different. It has some of the same elements, but it's arranged in a slightly different way. And 12-bar blues evolved. It was a songwriting method that evolved around the beginning of the 20th century. It's not like it was always there and we just finally recognized it. It was actually kind of an invention, and we don't know who invented it, but it's ingenious. And the way it works is this. We're in the key of, let's go back to the key of A, our old pal. I'm going to play 1, 4, 5, but I'm going to play them in a specific arrangement. And the arrangement, in the end, it adds up to 12 bars, and a bar is a measure. A measure consists of 4 beats. So like a whole note is a measure, and 4 quarter notes, you divide the measure into 4. Each quarter note is called a beat, so 4 beats to a measure. 12 measures in a progression. That's a lot of math, a lot of calculating to do, but it doesn't sound like that when you play it as music. So we're going to break it down into more bite-sized chunks. And here's the way it's going to work. We're actually going to make it into 3 sections of 4 bars apiece. And I'll kind of do it for you, and then I'll explain how it's going to work musically. Okay, so in the key of A, we're going to play A for 4 bars and sort of think of it as two bar sections, okay, like this. All right, play along with me. A7, 1, 2, 3, 4. A, 2, 3, 4, 2. Now repeat. A, 2, 3, 4, 2. Now go to the 4 chord, D, and 2, and back to A again. Repeat. Now we go to the 5 chord, and we keep going, and back to 1. And then it all starts again. Now, I don't know if you were counting, but that added up to 12 bars. There's a song, by the way, it's pretty cool, by a band called NRBQ, the New Rhythm and Blues Quartet, great band. They did a song called 12-Bar Blues, and they counted out. It's pretty funny. I'll try to give you a link to that so that you can find it and listen to it. Now, the way that this makes sense is that it's not just a progression, it's a song. And the way blues songs are written is that they have a call and a response. In other words, you say something and then you get an answer back. And remember, we were talking about some of the differences between European music and African music, and how European, there's a conductor, there's an orchestra, there's the audience, and it's very organized, and there's not much interaction there. Listeners listen and players play. In African music, the players and the listeners are all kind of in a group together, and they're going back and forth with each other. Lots of interaction. So a 12-bar blues is kind of like that, where you have 2 bars where you say something, and you get 2 bars where you're going to hear something back. And as we learn more about playing, about soloing and so forth, we'll figure out how to create those answers. But for right now, we're leaving a space there for that answer to happen, okay? Now, when you think about a 12-bar blues and how the lyrics go, they're all pretty typical. Well, I woke up this morning, you know, fell around for my shoes, that kind of thing. We can make up a 12-bar blues lyric, and one of the things that made 12 bars so cool and made it so popular, which it was huge for a long time, as a commercial style, not just, you know, as a thing we study in a blues lesson, but it was really selling records, is that it has this built-in opportunity to improvise. You say the first line, and then instead of coming up with another line right away that's different, you say it again, right? And then by the time you said it the first time and the second time, that gives you time to think of a rhyme, right? So you can kind of come up with blues songs on the spot. And a lot of blues songs have that kind of improvisational quality. Today, you know, in hip hop, they call it freestyling. It's kind of like that. You're freestyling a 12-bar lyric, all right? So let's say, think of a subject that's near and dear to our hearts. Oh, the 12-bar blues keep rolling round my brain, right? It's all I can think about. And then we're going to think of that third line when we get there, okay? All right, now play it along with me. Again, 4 strokes to the bar, and we're going to keep track of those bars, but this time we have the lyrics to help us stay musically in place so we don't have to count like we're using a calculator, okay? Here we go. 1, 2, A. Oh, the 12-bar blues, they keep rolling round my brain. Now here's the answer. 4 chord. Oh, the 12-bar blues, they keep rolling round my brain. Back to the 1. Here's the answer again. Well, they cause me so much trouble. You know they cause me so much pain. There's our answer. Now we start it all again. We tell another tale in the story of the 12-bar blues. Now you could rhyme brain with grain, drain, derange. No, that doesn't work. You get the idea, right? You can invent this blues song right here and come up with that song. We'll split the publishing. Now, the reason that we're doing this, it sounds corny, I know, but the reason we're doing this is because this is what blues songs are about. It's about telling a story, and the story is organized into 2 bars of I'm saying something, and 2 bars where you say, oh yeah, yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Then I repeat it again, you say, right, yeah, I heard you. And then you finish the idea with that third line, and then as a musician, you answer it and say, yeah, I heard exactly what you said that time. Tell me what else you got, right? And you start the next verse. So that's the 12-bar blues concept. So it's 2 plus 2, repeat, 2 plus 2, and then finish it off, 2 plus 2. And the 1, 4, and 5 fall into that category of repetition every time. We'll see some variations in the 1, 4, 5 later on, but that's the fundamental progression right there. So your assignment is to do that and do it in more than one key. In other words, you're going to follow that cycle of fourths and play the 12-bar blues in all 12 keys. Now, we don't need to do it together because I think you get the idea of how it works. If you have questions about how it works, you're not sure if you're doing it right, that's when you send me a video, you know, and say, I think I'm doing it, but let me know if I'm really doing it, right? And that way I can respond to you and tell you if you got it. But so far, so good. So you're playing 1 note per beat, or 1 stroke. You're trying to make that metronome disappear. Set the tempo where it's comfortable. Sometimes if it's too slow, it's hard to play and it's hard to be accurate. So maybe speed it up a little bit if you're ready for that. And then see, can I make the transition from the 12-bar blues in the key of A, go through all the changes, and then switch to the 12-bar blues in the key of D. Now to make it even sweeter, see, can you sing along, right? Can you, or even hum the words, or just say the words so that you're thinking musically each step of the way, all right? Have a ball, and I'll see you in a minute.